It is pretty much vanilla ice cream. The good thing about vanilla ice cream is you can flavor it with whatever you want, and a lot of stuff really pairs well with vanilla ice cream. And that's how I see the Battlemaster Fighter. Hello everybody, welcome to Dungeoneers Pack Live. My name is Josh. Today we're going to be discussing different ways you can flavor your Battlemaster Fighter. So the Battlemaster Fighter used to be the premier fighter subclass all the way up until Tasha's Cauldron of Everything came out and the Rude Knight took the throne. The Battlemaster Fighter hasn't really had like a good reputation. It's not that it's considered bad mechanically, it's just it's considered very, very bland. It is pretty much vanilla ice cream. The good thing about vanilla ice cream is you can flavor it with whatever you want, and a lot of stuff really pairs well with vanilla ice cream. And that's how I see the Battlemaster Fighter. So we're going to start off with taking your Battlemaster Fighter out of the front lines. Many of the Battlemaster maneuvers don't say whether they use a melee weapon or a ranged weapon. They just say when you make a weapon attack. That means these things are open to range. Consider playing your Battlemaster as an archer. A Battlemaster archer may make you feel like a deadly sniper. By being focused on the dexterity ability score and taking the archery fighting style, we have a solid base to work with. Your maneuvers become called shots. You take aim, hitting the target where it hurts them the most, not only doing additional damage, but getting some additional benefit. Disarming attack is your character launching an arrow to knock a weapon out of an enemy's hand. Precision attack is your character taking a deep breath to steady their aim and ensuring the arrow hits its target. And trip attack is your character lining a shot, hindering the movement of your enemies. You can further alter the flavor behind your archer Battlemaster depending on what other player options you use to support it. Want to play a trained sniper? The soldier background is perfect for this. Your character developed their deadly aim on the battlefield. You could be a private who takes the chance to join a group of adventurers to grow their archery skills and prove themselves to their peers, or be a former member of an elite group of archers trained to take out targets with efficiency. Additional player options to help dig into this fantasy are the sharpshooter and piercer feats. Both mechanically increase the power level of your attacks, but also reinforce the fantasy of your character having deadly aim. If you want to play that survivalist outdoorsman, but aren't too keen on the ranger class or the scout rogue, consider taking the outlander background and the perception or survival skills and the skill expert feat. This turns your archer into a grounded, magicless ranger, able to scout with the best of them, but with an emphasis on the iconic bow and arrow combo many associate with the fantasy trope. Robin Hood is another character we can take inspiration from. By taking the folk hero background, our Battlemaster archer becomes a hero looking out for the people. They are willing to rise up to tyrants to do what is morally right. Taking the persuasion, deception, and intimidation skills helps us step into the shoes of a character whose name and the idea they represent starts to become bigger than what they truly are. Using these skills, we can leverage our reputation to get us out of or into situations that continue to build our heroic legend. This character prefers to take refuge amongst the common folk, avoiding direct contact with the authorities at all costs. They would have a moral compass that pushes them to always do good or is right by the people, even if it is against the law. Shifting gears from range to melee, the Battlemaster Fighter can also go weaponless, providing a solid chassis for those that want to play an unarmed brawler. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything introduced the unarmed fighting style, which had the fighter stomp all over the toes of the monk. Again, many maneuvers don't specify whether they require the use of a weapon, as they only require the use of the attack action. There are a few that do specify the need to make a melee weapon attack, which unarmed strikes still count towards. As I already mentioned, take the unarmed fighting style. Just as if you were playing a monk, you can flavor your maneuvers like you would flavor unarmed strikes. They could be various styles of punches, kicks, headbutts, elbow or knee strikes. Disarming attack is your character knocking a weapon out of an enemy's hand with a quick grab. Feint attack could be a setup strike to disorient your opponent slightly to follow up with a stronger attack, a jab into an uppercut. Pushing attack is a hard-hitting blow that knocks your opponents on their back. And trip attack could be a simple leg sweep. A bare-knuckle Battlemaster differs from the monk fantasy as there is no faith or philosophy tied to their combat ability. Being a brawler is defined by more than just throwing blows at our enemies, as other player choices shape this idea. By taking the athlete background, our bare-knuckle brawler becomes a boxer. Prior to the life of an adventurer, they were on the path to becoming a heavyweight champ. We can double down on this idea by focusing on the maneuvers that emphasize striking the opponent and take the crusher feat to add some power behind those blows. If squaring up in the ring isn't what you're after and instead see your character brawling out on the streets, whether it's beating folks in illegal fight clubs or shaking people down for money, take the criminal background to make your character a thug. If you're keen on playing the hero but aren't afraid of going up against the law if it's for a just cause, take inspiration from street level heroes like Daredevil, Batman, and Luke Cage by taking the folk hero background. This turns you into a vigilante. With or without a mask, you become a symbol of justice. You have no issue in confronting those that do harm to people with a swift right hook to the jaw. Whether it's a corrupt noble or a mob boss, you will always be a force of good that will always try to stop them. With our actions being a source of inspiration, we can take the inspiring leader feat as a way to have our presence boost the morale of the group. The persuasion and intimidation skills are other ways that build on our legend. The last idea puts a weapon back in your Battlemaster's hands, having them seek out challenges from other armed warriors as a duelist. A warrior that tests their skills against against others as a sport isn't an idea exclusive to the Battlemaster fighter, but I find the subclass provides a solid chassis for this idea that gives players enough flexibility in its choices and doesn't rely on or use magic as some other player options do. Playing a duelist isn't exactly about the maneuver choices you pick, but instead enforced by a set of skills you take. This character trope often comes off as confident or cocky. Their way with words is equal in skill to their swordplay. Distracting or enraging their opponents, it's all part of their way to control the flow of combat in their favor. Deception, intimidation, persuasion, and performance skills are all ideal for this. Duelists tend to have a higher awareness, whether natural or trained. The investigation and perception skills are perfect for this. Investigation is the duelist having a keen eye reading the actions of the opponent, while perception is the duelist's overall natural awareness. Just like other ideas on this list, you can take other player options to add a specific flavor to your duelist. To play as a fencer, all you really have to do is have your Battlemaster use a rapier as their weapon. Using a rapier, we can support this by taking the dueling fighting style and the piercer feat to make our strikes hurt. The disarming attack, lunging attack, and parry maneuvers are all just a few to reflect your skills as a fencer. Taking a page out of the Bard, we can be a dual-wielding duelist that incorporates dance into our attacks as a sword dancer. Using two-weapon fighting style, our offhand attack gets a small boost in damage. To emphasize the dancer angle, the entertainer background is ideal. The dual-wielder feat would also be solid to better support our skills fighting with two weapons. And it adds a bonus to our armor class, which reflects agility and the performative nature of our sword dancing. Evasive footwork, distracting strike, and trip attack are all great maneuvers that play into the idea of an evasive dual-wielding swordsman. The last idea has your character working the crowd to intimidate your enemies as a gladiator. With a sword and shield, this Battlemaster has some defensive abilities to survive. The dueling or defensive fighting styles are solid for this depending if you want to be a bit more aggressive or defensive. Your maneuvers should have an emphasis on generating a reaction out of the crowd, which will influence how your opponents react to you. Goading attack has the enemy focus on you. Menacing attack puts some fear into them. Or riposte if an enemy leaves themselves open to an attack after missing theirs against you. This is all wrapped up nicely if you take the athlete or gladiator variant of the entertainer background. And that's my list. Hopefully this will inspire your next Battlemaster fighter. What character ideas did I miss? Let me know down in the comments section how you would flavor your Battlemaster fighter. As always, thank you for watching. Until next time, have a good one.